Right now at 11, the beverage tax dissolves and controversial tax on sugary drinks is gone and soda drinkers celebrate. But what will make up the budget gap? December surprise. When the calendar flips, winter parking rules take effect and car owners are taken by surprise. Royal engagement. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle perform their first royal duties as an engaged couple. How did the public receive the future Duchess from America? Good morning, and I'm Fallon Gallagher. Developing now, Chicago police say the month of November saw a significant drop in violence compared to last year. The department says shootings went down 47%. There were 193 shooting victims last month compared to 390 victims in November of 2016. Murders also dropped by 54%. And they claim crime overall went down 10%. CPD says November was the 9th month in a row with a drop in gun violence.
Now, it's important to keep in mind that these numbers aren't a spike of the football by any means, but instead an indicator of the progress that we're making in the right direction.
Superintendent Johnson announced these new crime stats in what was once one of the city's most violent beats. He says the Englewood district has seen a decline in murders of more than 80%. Breaking news. Former National Security Advisor Mike Flynn has pleaded guilty to lying to the FBI. The feds say he wasn't truthful about his communications with Russia. NBC's Blaine Alexander reports from Washington.
Michael Flynn arrived at federal court this morning in D.C. Flynn served as National Security Advisor until he was forced to resign in February after lying to the vice president about meeting with a Russian ambassador. Today, pleading guilty to making a false statement to the FBI about that same ambassador. Flynn is now the fourth person charged in special counsel Robert Mueller's sweeping investigation into Russian election meddling and any possible ties to the Trump campaign. That includes former campaign manager Paul Manafort, Rick Gates, and George Papadopoulos, a campaign aide. But this new charge against Flynn represents the first direct tie to the Trump White House. And Michael Flynn is now the closest person to President Trump to face charges in this investigation. He worked for months in his inner circle during the campaign before joining the White House with the highest security clearance as National Security Advisor. Blaine Alexander, NBC News, Washington.
Flynn released a statement. He says, quote, "I recognize that the actions I acknowledged in court today were wrong, and through my faith in God, I am working to set things right. My guilty plea and agreement to cooperate with the special counsel's office reflect a decision made in the best interest of my family and of our country. I accept full responsibility for my actions." And Senate Republicans are now scrambling, and they say they have the votes for a tax overhaul bill to pass. A report from a nonpartisan committee on taxation found that the bill will add $1 trillion to the debt over a decade. The bill will add an additional $458 billion in tax revenue, according to the analysis. That is the far short of the $2 trillion promised. Both the House and the Senate bills would double the standard deductions for individuals and married couples. Just in the last few minutes, Senator Mitch McConnell said, quote, "We will have the votes." A conservative magazine has named Governor Rauner the worst Republican governor in the nation. An article in the December issue of National Review says Rauner outraged Republicans by signing a bill to expand taxpayer funding on abortion in Illinois. It also says the Illinois has one of the weakest economies in the nation and the slowest personal income growth. Still to come, why Pope Francis apologized this morning. Plus, the stunning acquittal in a murder case that adds more fire to the immigration debate. The president and the victim's family speak out. And she's gone from an American actress to future royal. We'll get the first look at Meghan Markle in her royal role. The man charged in a violent attack near the Blue Line has turned himself in. This is 27-year-old Deonta Terry. He walked into Area Central headquarters early Wednesday morning. He's accused of assaulting and robbing near North and Bell early Sunday. Police say Terry followed the woman off the train and then dragged her into an alley a few blocks away. She was beaten, robbed, and disrobed. Terry will appear in bond court today. A new video of a fiery rescue in Oswego. In this dashcam video, you can see officers fight through the flames to drag the man inside the burning car to safety. The officers say the man refused to exit, but they persisted. 3 officers got hurt in Tuesday's rescue, 2 suffered smoke inhalation, and the other was burned. Former Today Show anchor Matt Lauer is reportedly seeking $30 million from NBC for the rest of his contract, which runs through next year. That's according to Page Six. Lauer was fired this week for complaints of sexual misconduct. At least 3 women have come forward to NBC. One accuser tells the New York Times she was sexually assaulted in Lauer's office in 2001 and passed out during that incident. An NBC spokesperson would not comment on the details, citing privacy issues. Lauer released an apology yesterday. He was spotted publicly yesterday for the first time since the scandal broke. Lauer was reportedly meeting with his lawyer and longtime friend, Edward Burke Jr. A well-planned robbery at the Bellagio in Las Vegas has police searching for the suspect. Surveillance footage shows a man in disguise go straight to the poker cage. He shows a gun and demands money, then he quickly runs out of the casino and leaves in a silver Chevy. Police don't know if he has a driver. The vehicle has been recovered, but the suspect is still at large. And coming up, Christmas comes to Chicago on a boat. A look at the Christmas ship at Navy Pier. And a little boy's chance encounter with a star quarterback led to the experience of a lifetime. Pope Francis is spreading a message of forgiveness in Bangladesh. He ordained 16 priests during a mass in the capital city of the Muslim-majority nation. The pontiff later met with some Rohingya refugees who fled camps in Myanmar. The UN says Myanmar's military is carrying out ethnic cleansing. Pope Francis blessed the refugees at an interfaith service. He apologized for the world's indifference to their plight. It's a big first for the newly engaged royal couple. Britain's Prince Harry and American actress Meghan Markle carried out their first public engagement today since announcing their wedding plans. NBC's Kelly Cobiello reports from Nottingham, England, where a big crowd was on hand to greet the happy couple.
Well, fans of the royals were here 3 hours early, hoping to catch a glimpse of Prince Harry and his fiancée, Meghan Markle, on their very first public outing together. They call it a walkabout in this country. It's a royal rite of passage, and the couple did not disappoint, spending about a half an hour working the crowds in the cold. Meghan breaking off on her own, talking to people, accepting bouquets as though she had been doing this for years.
She was so friendly, and she's a beautiful person, and I think she's going to do a great job.
The couple is here for several hours today. They're marking World AIDS Day. They're also visiting a youth program that Harry founded a couple of years back. The palace saying that Meghan was eager to come to Nottingham, a place that is dear to Harry, and meet some of the people that Harry has talked about over the past several months. Their first public outing as a couple, a success. Kelly Cobiello, NBC News, Nottingham, England.
It's an annual holiday tradition at Navy Pier. The Christmas ship arrived this morning. The Coast Guard ship Mackinac came from northern Michigan with thousands of Christmas trees for families in need. It's a reenactment of a tradition that started back in the late 1800s. The trees will be taken off the ship in an official ceremony tomorrow morning. The Taft High School choir will entertain the crowd. And what does a Bears fan do when he sees Packer star quarterback on the street? Take a picture, of course. More next. New this morning, a transgender student is suing her school district. The 18-year-old senior at Palatine High School wants to use the girls' locker room. She claims she previously had to use a separate locker room. She says she was only allowed in the girls' room if she changed in a private area. The superintendent says the allegations, quote, misrepresent the accommodations extended to the student and District 211's approach to working with and supporting transgender students. Police are still trying to figure out what caused a terrible accident this morning in north suburban Riverwoods. You can see there's a car overturned in some trees about 50 feet off Saunders Road, north of Riverwoods Road. That car split a power line pole in half and took out street signs as well. One person did leave the scene in an ambulance. There's no word yet on the extent of their injuries. And plenty of Chicago drivers woke up having to search for their cars today. They were towed overnight when the city's winter parking ban took effect at midnight. There are plenty of signs spelling it out, but with no snow on the ground, many were caught off guard.
So it's 5 o'clock in the morning. I had work in 2 hours, and I woke up to the alarm going off on it, and I tried to get them to take it off, but they couldn't, and so I had to come get it from the impound.
And it's pretty costly to get your car back. The minimum towing fee is $150. There's a $60 ticket and a fee of $20 for every day your car remains at the impound lot. Remember, snowing or not, the ban lasts until April 1st. And coming up at 11:30, it happens every year, but it's still a surprise. We'll explain. And up next, a celebration of the end of the sugary beverage tax.